What's going on YouTube? Welcome into today's video. We're back here in front of my C2 and I want to have a little discussion with you today about something that I've recently seen pop up in my comment section that, truth be told, I had given very little thought to until I saw some of the commentary. And the topic for this is WebOS 23. Now, just to kind of kick things off here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the mute button trick on here where I click the mute button a few times, it pulls up some info. So let me go ahead and do that. And there we go. And as you can see here, the platform is WebOS 22. And I want to use that for the baseline for my discussion here to start. So let me click that mute again so that's not on the screen. So like I said, I've seen this pop up in my comment section and I've been directly asked why I haven't moved to WebOS 23. And right now I'm going to give you the number one reason why willingly I will not go to WebOS 23 on this LG C2. Now, at the time of recording this video, it is spring 2024. Since the LG C2 was released for production, there's been a lot of new TVs come out since, some with much better technology. That's not the point of this discussion. The point of this discussion will be in spring 2024, if I was making this TV purchase over again and my two choices were a 77-inch LG C2 or a 77-inch LG C3, which one of those am I making the purchase for, given the prices are the exact same? Which one would I go for? I would 100% buy the C2. And let me give you the number one reason why that is. Now, some of you who follow this sort of stuff may already be picking up on, well, why would I choose a C2 over a C3 100% of the time? What could be different about the C2, which is a technology that's older? Why would I go for that every single time over the C3 given the exact same price? The reason why I selected this TV over others in the market was because it offered me the ability to completely control my gaming experience and my content consumption experience when it comes to dimming. If you're new to OLED technology, one of the biggest concerns that I personally had moving over from LCD TVs to OLED was that OLEDs have a strong dimming algorithm in place to help protect the panel. And I totally get that from the manufacturer. They're trying to avoid things like burn-in, right? And I get that. But the use case for this TV you're looking at right now, I would put it at 90% gaming and 10% content consumption. And at the time I made the purchase for this display, this TV has, for the last nearly 2 years of ownership, I would characterize this display as an excellent gaming TV display. And the other 10% where I'm doing content consumption through an Apple TV 4K, coming from a Sony snob when it comes to processing, I would characterize it as good enough. So the fact that my use case is 90% gaming and 10% content consumption, this was an excellent choice, even looking back, going back almost 2 years. And in 2024, given an opportunity to buy a C3 versus a C2, both 77 inches, exact same price, both can ship at the exact same time, I'm picking the C2 100% of the time. It's because the C2 and WebOS 22 give me the option or the flexibility to go in and control the dimming algorithm on the display. And if you're wondering, well, what the hell are you talking about? Let me show you. See this right here? This little cheap ass looking remote. This is an LG service remote that I picked up on Amazon for about $7, okay? And I made this purchase, I believe, either right after I bought the display, or hell, I may have made this purchase before I actually bought the TV so that it was already here. I can't quite remember. But the point is, just about from day one of the ownership of this TV, I went in and changed the settings. And look, I went into the service menu and made changes. And before I catch some flack in the comments, let me explain something else. When I bought this display, when I made the decision to buy this one, and I knew that there was the ability to go into the service menu and make changes to essentially turn off the dimming so that I can enjoy the gaming content the way I want to. I can enjoy my movie content the way I want to, etc. I knew full and well I was taking two tremendous risks. Number one, shortening the lifespan of the display. Okay, I knew that that was a possibility and probably likely. Number two, and I knew that if I ever was going to need to file a claim for warranty and get some repair done on this display, I knew I was taking a big risk that an LG technician might be able to tell if somebody's been in the service menu and made changes and then just changed it back to how it shipped from the factory or whatever. I knew that that was a possibility. So having known that I'm likely shortening the lifespan of the display and I am taking a risk that I could have a warranty claim denied, I was willing to take that risk from day one so that for however long I own this display, I can enjoy my gaming exactly the way I want to and not have to worry a second about dimming, it impacting my gaming experience. I can watch sports and have the display settings exactly how I want, and I don't have to worry about dimming coming in and interfering with my ability to enjoy whatever game I'm watching or, whatever movie, etc. I wanted full control over that, knowing that I could be taking a risk there twofold, okay? This goes to show you exactly why I never once considered moving from this 77C2 to a 77C3. That's not the only reason, but it's a very good reason because it was known early on. Matter of fact, it might have even been before the C3 and the G3 went into production that the service menu had changed. And you access the service menu the exact same way with the remote, the same code, you do the same thing. The difference here is what I'm getting ready to show you, which is, let me show you on the remote. You're gonna hit this Start button. It's gonna pull up the password. You're gonna enter in the code 0413. And the key here is right there in the middle column. You see that 17 lines that you can go in and adjust? Let me head on down to number 12. And under number 12, there are two settings over here that you need to manipulate to control the aggressiveness when it comes to dimming. The first one at the top, TPC enable, and the one second from the bottom, GSR enable. By turning those off, I experience no dimming, period, no matter how long my gaming sessions are, HDR gaming, SDR gaming, you name it, no dimming. The display luminosity is gonna stay the exact same. And again, I understand the risks I'm taking there. I know that that's not healthy for the panel, but I don't care. That might rub some of you the wrong way, but I don't care. I bought this display to enjoy it the way I want to and assume those risks, okay? Now, having said that, one of the biggest changes I noticed right away on the C3 and the G3, which is one that I was going to consider as an upgrade to this C2. With the brightness level bump and some of the other features that came with the G3, it was on my radar to upgrade from this C2. But I knew well before production, before it even hit the stores where you could even buy it. I knew that it wasn't going to be an upgrade option because the service menu had changed. And let me put up on the screen right now what the service menu looks like on a C3. And I'm showing you right now, you access the service menu on the C3 the exact same way on the C2, and this applies to the G2 and the G3 as well. So like I said, you access the service menu the exact same way, with the same remote, with the same code. The difference is what you see in the clip, which is that middle column. You don't see those options anymore. Now, from what I understand, there is still a way to access those same menu options on the C3 and the G3. There's just a backdoor method way to get there. Now, here's why I've never explored doing that on my C3, which, by the way, if you're new to my channel, is my desktop display. So just imagine an OLED TV as a desktop display where you have static logos and icons all over the place. Now, I've taken safeguards there and I don't keep any, icons or anything on the screen. I just have a static, like an image as my background, and there's no icons, and I hide my taskbar, okay? So I'm doing some things to cut into those, try to be preventative when it comes to image retention. But having said that, a big thing I noticed, the difference between the C2 and the C3 and why I know this is working 100% is that when I'm, say, editing videos for YouTube or, whatever I'm doing, the display it gets dim as hell. When I'm in my video editing program and you've got those static portions of the screen with the editing software, the image dims down. I can't tell you the percentage, but it's way down. And it's drastic. You notice it in a big way, okay? And it's extremely distracting. And despite all that, I have still not explored doing that backdoor way of getting into that portion of the service menu to turn those features off. And I'm going to tell you exactly why right now. It's because from what I understand, you do the extra steps to get to that portion of the service menu. And once you've completed the steps and you've now gone in and you have turned off TPC and GSR, you're free to enjoy your session. While the TV is on, you're free to enjoy your gaming session, your movie, whatever you're going to be watching, sports. You should be able to enjoy your session how you would like I have my C2 set up here. The problem is when you turn the TV off, from what I understand, the next time you boot it up, it boots up in some sort of, safe mode or something. And on top of that, the TV essentially resets itself and you have to go back and do those extra hurdles all over again for that next session to enjoy the TV the way you want for that particular session, okay? Whereas on the C2 and the G2 and WebOS 22, I don't have to do it, but if I did, I would simply just have to hit Instart, plug in the code, go down to number 12, turn off TPC, turn off GSR, and I'm good to go. And I would consider that a somewhat minor inconvenience if that's the way it was on the C3, but it's not. You have to do extra steps past what I just told you to turn off those same settings in the C3 and the G3. And I gotta be honest with you, it's just not worth it for me if that's what you have to do. Now, there might be somebody here with a C3 or a G3 watching this video that has figured out a way to get in there, turn off TPC and GSR, have it set up the way I have the setup on the C2 here without having to go back and do those steps every single time you restart the TV. And if you figured that out, leave a comment, let me know when you have, and I wanna link up with you and talk to you about how you did it. Because if there's a way to do that without jumping through all these extra hoops every time I turn on the display, I wanna know what the steps are and I wanna try it out. As a matter of fact, I may even do a video on it. Whatever the steps are, if they're not too convoluted and it really does permanently put in what I want, like on the C2 here, I may do a separate video on it talking about it because I just don't know if there's that much content out there talking about that issue when it comes to how to do it on the C3 and the G3. And oh, by the way, we have the 2024 lineup of LGs right around the corner. They're probably coming out here, like I said, the time of filming this video is early March, mid-March 2024. So, we're probably within a month or less of the B4, C4, and G4 hitting the market. And I haven't heard anything yet about the service menu and the ability to go in and access it the same way I do on the C2. Something tells me that if LG changed that for 2023 models, I highly doubt they're going to go back to what I see on the C2. So, having said that, I've now given you the number one reason why not only would I choose the C2 over the C3 100% of the time, but why I will not willingly move to WebOS 2023. And I have a sneaking suspicion here that it's not going to be too much longer before there's a firmware update that comes across that's going to include WebOS 2023. And at that point, I'm going to be screwed. And at that point, I'm going to have to make a decision on a new display because having experienced my C3 now for several months as a desktop monitor and only turning off the dimming features that are in the public menus, I know turning those completely off, I know how aggressive this dimming is going to be when it comes to gaming. If you're playing games like Call of Duty where you've got, mini maps and static elements on the screen, which is primarily what I play, I know I'm going to be seeing some serious dimming going on here without the ability to turn off TPC, GSR, or whatever they're calling those settings in there now. Okay, so I'm going to have to make a decision on what display I'm going to go with moving forward when that day comes. It'd be really nice if LG would just leave us alone that have the C2 and the G2, WebOS 22. Just let us stay on WebOS 22. Let us stay with the current service menu settings the way it is, and just live with it the way it is. You can continue to fire out firmware updates, and I'm going to continue to bring those to the channel when the C2 and the G2 get firmware updates. Continue pushing those out. Hell, even add some new features if you want. I'm cool with that. But leave the service menu alone the way it is. Now, I've kind of ranted on for quite a while now in this video, and it might be all for naught, because one of you who watches this video might drop a comment in the comment section and say, look, well, Quicksand TV, you can upgrade to WebOS 2023. I keep saying that. You can update to WebOS 23 and the service menu is exactly how yours is now on the C2. And if that's the case, I'll be right behind you and everyone else moving to WebOS 23. But if it's discovered that what comes with that is that restructured service menu on top of it, I am not willingly going there. I'm just not going to do it. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and discussional format. If you did, hit that like button, really helps support the channel. And if this is your first time seeing one of my videos and checking out the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell notification so you don't miss my future uploads. But with all that being said, until the next one.